You know what I mean?
Beginner's mind, yeah?
I want to, before we get started, I just want to say a big thank you for Brendan. A thank you to Brendan for being here and continuing to be with us. Oh, looks like my internet is frozen.
Why aren't a couple of people, the names
There we go.
are not coming up on the screen?
Hmm.
You know?
Which people do you see?
Well, I don't know their names, so how can I point out?
Do they have a picture, maybe?
Yeah, there it is. One is Jordan.
Jordan's there.
Jordan, and the other one is
And the need for this mandatory mask wearing.
Ooh, let's everybody who's not Brendan, if you don't mind just muting yourself, unless Brendan asks us to unmute. Let's keep ourselves muted.
oh, that's Lama Karma. Is that you?
Lama Justin. Yeah. Wow, Justin, I haven't
didn't
seen you
recognize you.
in years and years. Yeah. Nice to see you.
I thought I recognized Karina's name, but I wasn't sure about her last name. Yeah.
Yeah, welcome everybody. My internet just glitched while I was saying thank you to Brendan for coming and continuing to guide all of us on our crazy journey, and just continuing to show up for us and encourage us to show up for ourselves as we continue to look into the mind. So thank you, Brendan, so much for offering tonight's teachings and the teachings this weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to connect with all of you. So before we start, I'd like for us to just to sit for a moment, absolutely without any agenda, no plans. Just simply allow yourself to be as you are. As you find yourself, just simply allow that to be as it is. Then you're automatically allowing yourself to be who you are, not who you think or fabricate yourself to be. So just simply allowing yourself to be as you are, you're automatically being what you are. Without trying to be what you are. When you try to be what you are, automatically you're not being what you are. All you have to do is just simply allow yourself to be. Simply be. Nothing needs to be added. Just being is the art of being. So if you can't just be, then just be what you are. You are. Are you not? We are before we know that we are. We simply are before we are anything. Just as the nature of mind, empty mind, pure mind is mind before it is or becomes anything. Just as here, you are before you are anything or become anything. Because you already are, you are perfect and complete. We don't know that because we haven't tried to clarify our access. Just simply being, just simply are. Simply being, just are, no different. Of course, just are, just being is no different than just aware. Before any label, they are all the same. So just simply being is mine, being mine, without being anything. Without the label of mine. So when we're just simply being, mind is automatically being mine. Without it being anything. By simply being, or mine, just being mine, without being anything, will automatically start to be or become what it is, what it really is. More the mind is mine, the more it will become itself. That's how we realize the nature of mind. More the mind is not anything, more it is empty. Remember, nature of mind is none other than just empty mind. Empty of being anything whatsoever. So the secret is, or the trick is, mind can be anything and everything without it becoming anything or something. When the mind is empty, it can be anything and everything without changing itself, without affecting itself. the mind becomes unlimited, unobstructed. When it becomes empty, it becomes infinite, limitless. So take a break without being distracted to anything. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, good. So Thursday night is supposed to be the meditation class for beginners. Someone said we're all beginners, right? Okay. So what I like to do is we're going to stay with the meditation. And I know there are experienced, seasoned meditators here. And I want to hear from them, and I want to hear from other people. What meditation was when they started, and how that has changed or that has evolved, and how the meditation has changed or it has redefined itself as you've been traveling the path of meditation. So we're going to be like teaching each other. I'm curious to hear from what you have to say. What are some of the changes and transformations that you've experienced? Is meditation same as when you started? Or is it changed? How is it changed?
Hi, Brendan. It's Allison.
Hi, Allison.
I don't know why I can't get my video working, but I wanted to say, I am still a rank beginner, but I do notice that when I very first started meditating, the only thing I could think about is how much my body ached. And for some reason now, when I sit, I don't have that experience at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm older and I actually have more pain in my body, so I don't really get that. But there's some level of just relaxation that happens that I think I didn't have when I first started.
So that's good. So what is meditation to you? Is it like a process of relaxing?
Well, I mean, in this moment, I'm probably being influenced by what you were saying at the beginning today, but it feels like it's a time to remind my mind to just be empty.
Right.
And that's a different orientation to, like, when I was starting to meditate, I think it was more like, don't think, or
Right.
it was tight. It was
Mhm.
tight. And it's not, so there's that's a difference.
Yeah. So could I say that meditation has a broader meaning? It's wider than when you started out?
Yeah, and I mean, in a weird way, it's simpler, but it's deeper.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
And I think in general, I try too hard in my life with everything I do. So
Mhm.
when I first started meditating, I was working way too hard.
Right. Because we have all these preconceptions about meditation when we start.
Yeah.
So as we meditate, we become more familiar with what meditation is from our own experience. We can start to let go of all these preconceptions, what you think meditation should be, what you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, you could say we can start to become free from meditation. That's what true meditation should do.
Mm.
I'm free from meditation. Meditation is a skillful means. And you've heard of the phrase non-meditation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meditation beyond fixation. Yes. Dujam Rinpoche said, to meditate without meditating on anything whatsoever is the sublime key point in one of his pith instructions. Thank you, Allison.
Thank you so much. And I'm just so happy to see your beautiful face and hope your eyes are doing well.
It's getting better. So anybody else?
Hello, Brandon.
Arik.
Brendan.
Yes.
I, in a very brief way, I think I can say that when I started to meditate, I was doing, just like Allison said, I was doing, a lot of doing was involved. It was about
Right.
postures, it was about fixing on things, it was about keeping thoughts away, it was about thinking I should be getting to places of particular kind.
Right.
And was just forcing discipline, doing. There was a lot of activity, and time, and with all the, everything that happened in between, it's becoming very clear that it is about letting go and just letting be, and just letting be, not even trying not to do anything, but just letting be and not doing without doing.
Yeah.
And accepting, and one of the I think most recent sort of One of the most recent insights maybe that I started realizing is accepting whatever arises and not having judgment about it is the very important letting go.
Right.
And whatever it is that arises, not to engage it, but not to feel anything in particular about it, just letting it.
Right.
And then by not doing, things settle down. So as you said, in all of this, there's a openness that takes place. There is a,
Right.
whatever we want to call it,
Yeah.
definitely a sense of peace, but just letting all of that be. So from beginning was very much about this tense doing, tense accomplishing of something.
Right.
And now it's all about just.
Yeah. In the beginning, we react. See, that's the thing. That's the, how do you say, that's the conditioned sickness. This tendency to react to everything. We react. When you're in the state of just being, one doesn't react. When the mind is just being itself, it naturally does not react because it all appears within the mind. See how simple meditation can be? How simple it can be, but don't mistake. Not easy. Simple and easy are not synonymous. Simply being is simple, right? But how many of us can just simply be? Just be. Period. No afterthought. Not continuing anything. What you said, Eric, is probably the process that for most of us probably go through one way or the other. Maybe not in the same way, but generally, yeah, like that. When I started to meditate, I didn't, I suppose I had some idea what meditation, obviously, I knew what to do. In a way, I knew what to do, physically. I remember one day, this is before I had any practice or anything. And I hadn't really started to come into Dharma yet. And I was in Dharamsala, I was staying in Hotel Baksu. Some of you probably know that hotel. I don't even know if it's still there, but. And this is before I started Dharma or met Lama Yeshe. One day I said, all right, starting today, I'm going to meditate for 1 hour. I didn't know exactly what meditation was, but I knew enough just to sit quietly and just started to take care of whatever happened. You know, not to be distracted as I normally was, just trying to be quiet. Mind automatically starting to observe mind, what's going on. That's how I started, and then I started, then I met Lama Yeshe and, took the Vajrayana initiation and learned the Tantra and the sadhana, So I knew what to do. Now I'm kind of back to where I started. I don't really know what to do. I don't really want to know what to do. Just simply want to allow things to be as they are. So I want to hear from some of you now. I mean, I gave my spill. I find this very helpful and very down-to-earth, experiential, very practical.
Hi, Brendan. This is
Yes.
Barbara. Nice to see you again.
Yeah.
When I first started meditating, I never heard the word meditation. I think someone tried to get me to try to sit and just be, although that's not the words they used. And I couldn't do that. So my first experience was mantra, recitation of mantra and some sutra. And that I could do. It was soothing. And there were times, as more time went on, then I found myself, I'd stop mantra and I'd just sit and I'd just be there. But I never thought of that as being part of meditation until maybe 20 years later when I met Surya and you. And I remember thinking, gee, I didn't know that part was part of meditation. And then I started Vajrayana and the sadhanas and that. And meditation, I could just kind of just be and not have to do mantras or sutras. And now, especially in the past year and changing circumstances, I just could accept and just sit. Right now, it's maybe I've been finding it a little bit harder to just let go completely. But I know I can do that. And I like what Eric said. I identified with that. But to just not meditate, but to not trying to not meditate, and to just be is really about all I can do anymore. There's no other choices. There's no other things to try. And it's just what it is, whatever comes each day. I couldn't really,
All right, great. Thanks, Barbara. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So trying not to meditate is not any different than trying to meditate.
Exactly. You know,
Okay?
yeah.
All right.
Hey, Brendan, it's Jody.
Yes.
I think that one of the significant things for me is the non-focusing,
Yes.
because I think before that, when I would sit or do any practice, I would get distracted and get really focused on whatever I was distracted
Mm-hmm.
by. And I think now that I know about non-focusing, you know, if that starts to happen and I can just say, oh, I need to not focus, it's just the storyline just dissolves.
Yeah.
And it's much easier for me to get back into, you know, the actual meditation and working, you know, or not working on just being. So that's been really helpful. I
So
think
what
that's
did
been a
you,
big shift for me.
so what did you think meditation was? What was meditation to you before you started to do non-focusing?
Well, I think it was, I mean, I think some of it was more like visualization, or trying not to just kind of label my thoughts, but not to teach myself to not focus on my thoughts, just to say it's a thought. I was still in my head about it.
Right.
So
So you weren't, obviously you weren't expecting anything like, or something like non-focusing when you started, right?
I was not, no.
Non-focusing, that's not meditation, you know.
Right.
We got to focus to meditate. We got to concentrate to meditate. How can we be meditating when we're not focusing on anything?
Right.
But there's freedom.
Well, it kind of goes back to what people have been talking about, that it's the, you're not trying to make something happen.
Right? Exactly. The problem is we're trying to make something. That's the problem. But there's great power in effort and concentrated meditation. There's different skillful means. Now, we shouldn't rule the other stuff out. There's different ways. You know, concentrated meditation can have great power. Also, non-effortful, non-concentrated meditation can also have great power. But in a different way. See, this is a way, by me asking you this question, this is a way for you to start to clarify what you're doing, your practice. Maybe you can start to see other options. You don't have to be stuck in the way you're doing things. Not that way you're doing things is wrong. But this gives us different perspective. and unique perspective of each individual, how they discovered, how each individual adapted. Remember me saying over and over, we all may receive the same teaching, but each individual has to find their own way to realize the teaching. That can't be given to you. You have to find that by yourself through your own practice. And we should know that. Gives us the room and permission to start to experiment different ways which may be more conducive or effective for us. Instead of trying to see the practice in one way and just trying to strictly follow that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with following a specific way. So there must be some individuals who had different, different evolution of their own meditation. I want to hear. Yes, Carol?
I started off with very kind of a liberation experience with a transmission from my teacher, and then have sort of had to work my way back to that all these years. Not back to it exactly, but it became an inner knowing, an inner awareness that was very constant. So even though over the years I've had to deal with my incessant thinking and restlessness, there's always this inner knowing and inner clarity that's been there. So it's just been more like learning more about my mind and how it works, and more about my neurosis and more about clarity. But I think every significant development, I might say, in my ability to rest in the natural state has come through really like a kind of revelatory experiences. Not because I'm putting in the hard work, but I'll just get a download that's very profound. And so I think other than that first experience of knowledge, kind of real inner knowledge, knowing that luminous, clear awareness, like a perfectly blue, endless sky. I had a download, like rest. It said rest in the natural state, and it's sort of like when you're trying to learn to ride a bicycle, you fall to the left and the right, and suddenly you just get the balance. So it was kind of like that download I got. I was in Delhi actually with Soksha Rinpoche. I just got this download, and I, I, I experienced what it was like to rest in the natural state. And so it's not like I worked really hard to understand that. It just was given to me. So now my practice is just relaxing back into that awareness. But I still, my mind, I'm actually teaching meditation now to people, and I feel like I'm just like them. I mean, my mind will just go all over the place, or this or that. I think the only difference is like I've had an experience of really truly knowing my Buddha nature. So that's been always the core since the very beginning. And then it's just about watching the various ways in which my mind does its thing. Discipline is the thing for me. My biggest challenge has been over the years having a very regular practice and not being like a lot one day and not on anything else for 4 or 5 days. So what's really evolved for me now is the discipline of knowing I need to sit every day. So I'd say the biggest realization I've had is consistency is very important.
Right. Great. You still need to pay your dues.
Yeah, I got a lot of gifts, a lot of free gifts, but yeah, I have to still pay my dues.
Yes. Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Many of actually pretty much everything that's been shared, I could almost say yes, ditto, me too. And just listening to Carol, I think what just came to me was one of my biggest, aha insights throughout practice has been, I think when I first came to meditation, I thought, in order to even sit down, the mind already had to be in a very positive or very clear, some sort of already halfway there to whatever I thought meditation was. Yeah. And joyfully from your teachings, Brendan, and from my other teachers, I now truly know and trust that any and every moment is perfect for practice. Just being the mind, being with the mind, whether it's sunshine or clouds or tornado, who knows? All it's coming from is the radiant Dharmakaya. And just as Carol said, that puts wind under my wings to practice every day. So that becomes more and more of my resting place and that confidence. So that's what I would say, my biggest one of them. So thank you.
So after what you said, to really clarify what you were saying, how many of us, before we start to practice, everything has to be in its place, before you can start to practice. Now I can start to practice. Versus just drop and start. Start where you are. Of course, that may be the different practice that you're doing now, but we can do that. That's the practice of, Mengi Rinpoche says, open awareness. Anam Tipton, just simply pause. Nesho Ken Rinpoche, just drop. So many different ways. So by sharing the meditation experience together like this, some of us can begin to see that, hey, there are different options. There are different ways to practice. I don't have to be stuck in the way I'm practicing. If it works, of course, it's great. But if it doesn't, you should check out other possibilities.
Hello, Brendan. This is James.
Yes, James.
How are you tonight, sir?
I'm fine, thank you, Jesse James.
So I'm becoming very, very interested in what I call side effects. Three that I can talk about tonight are my life over the summer has become way more organized. which I believe is to be an effect of the fact that I've adopted this practice every single morning. That I get up in the morning, I eat because I have to, because I take medication that has to be taken with food. That has to be done. The second thing I do is I do 30, 40 minutes of meditation, and then I do an exercise program, which is doctor's orders, because I have a heart condition. So
Right.
a big thing with heart people is to
Right.
exercise.
Yeah.
And I've just noticed that my life has been, my house is more organized, my house is nicer. I've really put a lot of work into getting my environment much more, just nicer to be around, less toxic. Another thing, another side effect of meditation, which I'd be curious to know if other people are getting this, is that depends, 3 hours up to 7 hours afterwards, I'll have this wave of peace or calm come over me. And that's quite nice. And I know that that also is part of the practice. I tend to be a hyper person, so it's kind of unusual for me to experience this sort of just, that's nice. So that's a second side effect. The third side effect happened to me about, I want to say about 3 weeks ago. I had a lucid dream. And so I had a dream. I woke up in this place that my wife and I have visited many times in the past. And I went, holy crap. I went, I'm in this place and I'm in a dream and I'm walking around in the dream and I've been here and this is incredible. And I woke up and I had a smile on my face for 2 days after that experience happened. I've become very, very interested in the dream state. So that's kind of my point, is just to watch the rest of my life outside of the practice and see if I can pick up little signs here and there of it having an effect in the rest of my day.
So James,
Yes, sir.
how is meditation, has it changed your idea of meditation, what you believe meditation is? Has it changed
Oh,
over
yeah.
the years?
Yes, very much so. Back in the 1980s, I became exposed to Buddhism, what I call my first round, in 1988. And I went through this intense phase for about 3 years where I was very interested and I read a lot of books and did things. And I thought meditation at the time, I thought it was like an LSD trip. I thought, man, I'm going to go on a trip, man, and I'm going to see things. And there's going to be colors and it's going to be all psychedelic and amazing things are going to happen. So I had to lose that a long, long time ago, because that's not what it is. I kind of wish it was, but still. But I get it. It's not. It's a practice. It's a commitment. It's you know, I haven't gotten to the point where I can just drop the part about the commitment and the practice and the method that I go through to do what I do. I'm looking forward to that day. But that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, oh yeah, I definitely see things way differently in 2020 than I did in 1988. Yes.
Right. So, James,
Yes.
don't get stuck in the side effects. Don't get stuck in the side effects. Enjoy them, but don't get stuck in them. Okay?
Yeah. No, I get that.
Okay.
I'm the kind of person, I need to find some evidence that what I'm doing is working. I think that's what that is all about. So I will work on just, okay, you let it happen and move on.
Yeah. So the main point is going beyond everything. not getting stuck on anything or something. So when we start to get really affected, mesmerized by the side effects, that's what is happening. We don't want to miss the main point. Even though there's no point, we don't want to miss the point. Okay.
Paradox.
All right. Good. Go ahead.
Hi, Brendan. It's so good to see you.
Yeah.
It's Dawn Star.
Yes, Don.
I think the thing for me that's changed the most is an increasing compassion for my own experience, my own neurotic conditioning thing, and also an ease in meditation and a joyfulness in it that felt was more effortful initially, echoing what some other people have said, a little more effortful is the best word that I can put to that. And the longer I meditate, the less I think I know. I've had moments where I think I've had a glimpse of the view. And most of the time, I think I'm pretty conditioned. And that's okay. That's the compassion coming forward that I feel. And it's created, it's rubbed off sharpness of my edges towards others. And in this last 6 months, with everything falling apart, that not knowing has become pretty profound, of like literally not knowing who I am. And I've been okay with that because of this arising compassion towards that experience.
Not knowing who you are is who you really are.
Yeah.
Yes. It's the knowing who I am that prevents you from being who you really are.
Yeah, I don't know who the hell I am anymore.
But are you not?
Sometimes.
That's what you got to clarify. You are. Don't ever forget that. It's so simple. You are. We are. There's no doubt. We can have doubts about, oh, I am this, or I am that, but you can't have any doubts about that you are. I am. That's where everything comes from. You are before you are anything. The nature of mind, empty mind, is the mind before it is anything, becomes anything. So this is what we have to start to become familiar, start to access who we already are. Of course, who we already are is the innate great perfection. we are already perfect and complete, as it is said in the innate great perfection. How do we start to access that? By just simply starting to be. You are, there's no doubt. So start to be that. It's our habit and conditioning that makes it difficult for us to just simply be. If you start to allow yourself to be, you can automatically start to become who you are. And these are the things that you have to work out through your own practice. You see, it's only by doing the practice this will start to clarify. You will begin to experience the natural great perfection, the innate qualities of the mind or awareness, just by starting to be that. Of course, in the beginning, it's not anything. That's why it's so difficult. What do you can say, what are you talking about? I am, I'm just are. What the hell's a big deal? That's where the big deal is. That's who you are. So start to spend some time there. You want to realize the nature of mind? Start to be the mind. Spend more time being the mind, not the object of the mind. So does that make sense to you, Don?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Thank you.
See, that's the problem. We already are. Most of us don't know it. Just passes right by. We don't have to look elsewhere. We are already. It's a matter of whether you have the courage, trust, faith. Start to be that. It's not about going to a different land or different place. It's about staying where you are and start to find out where you are. So anybody else about meditation? How the meditation has changed since you started? Or how it has stayed the same? I'd be interested in hearing how it stayed the same, if it hasn't changed. Or what do you hope to get out of meditation? What do you want meditation to do for you? As far as that goes, I can ask you, why are you meditating? You should clarify that. Why are you meditating? So what does meditation do for you? So are you clear of those questions that I asked? Or are you kind of clear? It helps us to periodically clarify these basic assumptions that we have.
Brendan, this is Allison.
Yes.
So this isn't a complete answer. And I think I'm only kind of clear. But one reason I like to meditate is that at least a lot of the time I have this experience of connectedness. I don't even know how to explain it, but like I just feel like if I have a very small focused mind, it can be very isolating.
Uh-huh.
And when I am not doing that and I'm in a more relaxed, open view, there's no separation.
Right.
So that experience of connection or no separation, however you want to say it, is one reason.
Yeah, that's very positive. Being connected.
And I noticed, yeah, when I have that experience, it like literally calms my whole nervous system down, and it's very nourishing.
Of course.
And it also calms down my neuroses.
So look what happens when we allow ourselves to be who we are. What happens? We automatically allow other people and everything to be as they are. And vice versa. When we allow other people, all the things to be as they are, automatically we're allowing ourselves to be as we are. Because we're not separate. Especially we're not separate from each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know? We don't have to know that we're connected to each other to start to feel the connection. It's like you don't have to know who you really are to start to be who you are. Knowing comes afterwards being. Your being. Being is before knowing. You are. First. Knowing comes afterwards. It's more important to be than to know. These are the things that you should clarify through your own experience, through your own practice. See for yourself, is it true? What I'm saying, it may sound good. Oh yeah, I already am before I know that I am. These are the things you should clarify through your own experience. See if I'm lying to you or not. See, one of the things is, if you're really clear what meditation does, how it affects you, how it helps you, then you will have less hesitation, more certainty about meditating. So in a way, when you meditate, we can't see what we've accomplished. It's not as salient or noticeable as when we read or do something that's more evident, easier to see. Sometimes we meditate and meditate, it's not so salient. It's not so easy to notice how we're progressing in meditation. Whereas it's so easy when we read something, how that momentarily changes our mind, clarifies certain things. But if you really want to start to transform, change, realize your mind, meditation is very important. Of course, in the beginning, reading and reflection, contemplation is important. But at a certain point, you got to really start to meditate. When you start to really see what meditation is, you can start to go beyond meditation. So meditation itself can be limiting at a certain point. Of course, at a certain point, it really opens things up, liberating. But at a certain point, it can be subtly constricting, limiting. It just depends where you are. Let's just simply sit for a moment. Just simply let everything go. By just simply being, not being anything, we can start to automatically let go. Without trying to let go of anything. Let's do the dedication. I'll do the dedication. By the power of this practice, may our real enemies May our own confusions and misdeeds be overcome, our true nature fully realized, so that we may free beings from the miseries of delusions, afflictions, negative emotions, anger, and fear, the stormy waves, the ocean of samsara. May the pure and brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion, unstoppably until all are fully illumined and awakened.
Thank you so much, Brendan.
Thank you.
For those of you who are interested in continuing along with Brendan's teachings this weekend, he's offering a full weekend of online teachings just like this. So tomorrow night at 7 Mountain Daylight Time, and then Saturday and Sunday at 10 a.m., 10 to 12, and then 2 to 4 in the afternoon on both days. If you're interested in signing up for this online meditation retreat, you can visit the Padmasambhava Meditation Center website at pmctr.org. And you can click on Brendan's teachings. Did he pop off? Nice. I love it. Yeah, so if you're interested, or if those of you who know my email address, you can email me directly and I can send you the link if that's easier. And then just to let you know, Chögyam Rinpoche is going to teach a little bit next week. So he'll teach this Thursday Introduction to Meditation class next week. And you can find the link to that on Facebook, and I'll send out an email sometime this weekend with that link as well. We'll do it over YouTube instead of on Zoom. Then next weekend, Rinpoche is going to teach a kind of weekend of retreat light on the Bardo teachings. So he'll teach Friday night, Saturday morning, and Sunday morning next weekend. And you can pay attention to the email, or I'll be on Facebook and the website as usual there too. And then next Wednesday the 26th of August, Rinpoche will give teachings on a healing practice that was encouraged at the start of the pandemic. His Holiness Chögyam Rinpoche encouraged us to start doing this leaf-clad Tara practice and recitation. So Rinpoche gave the transmission for that a couple of Sundays ago. I think it was July 5th. He gave the transmission for that practice. And he'll do a short teaching, and then he'll lead us through the practice so we know how to do it properly on Wednesday, August 26th. And then Friday, August 28th is Seichu, so Guru Rinpoche Day. So we'll offer a tsok here from the center through YouTube Live. So that'll be around 6 o'clock on Friday, August 28th. And then Rinpoche's last teachings for this round will be Wednesday, September 2nd, where he'll do a similar thing. He'll lead us through the regular Tara practice. He'll lead us through the Heart Sutra, and he'll also lead us through Chenrezig practice that a group of us have been doing every Tuesday, pretty much since the beginning of June. So those look out for those dates on Facebook and on email. And hope to see you all in cyberspace at some point.
Thank you so much, Tracy, for everything you do.
Thanks, Tracy.
Thank you,
My
Tracy.
pleasure. Have a lovely evening, everybody.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Sounds good. Julie, let me know if you need any help or support or anything for the weekend. I'm only a text away. And I'll hop on from time to time when I'm like sitting and doing something. Okay.
Okay, that's great. Polishing.